It's Wednesday, June 4th, AD 2025. This is The World View in 5 minutes, written by Jonathan Clark and myself, and heard on 140 radio stations and at theworldview.com. I'm Adam McManus. Christians are facing increased persecution in Mali after the military junta initiated a crackdown in May. The military of the West African nation dissolved all political parties in the crackdown. Joe Newhouse with Open Doors Sub-Saharan Africa said, quote, Christians in Mali have faced increasing persecution over the past few years by closing the democratic space and further encroaching on civil liberties. The junta is adding unwelcome pressure to an already volatile situation, end quote. Please pray for the church in Mali, Africa. The country is ranked 14th on the Open Doors World Watch list of the most difficult places to be a Christian. A Ukrainian evangelist addressed the European Congress on Evangelism in Berlin, Germany last Thursday. Evangelist David Karcha reported that Ukrainian evangelicals have been ministering to their fellow countrymen since Russia invaded the country in 2022. Churches are seeing thousands of people come to Christ during the war. Karcha said, quote, in the world's eyes, Ukraine is a story of war, but in God's eyes, it is a story of revival, a story that reminds us all that the gospel advances, end quote. 2 Corinthians 10 verses 4 and 5 says, for the weapons of our warfare are not carnal, but mighty in God, for pulling down strongholds and every high thing that exalts itself against the knowledge of God. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development cut its economic growth outlook for the United States. The group forecasts the U.S. economy will expand by 1.6% this year, down from its previous forecast of 2.2%. Experts also expect global economic growth to slow this year in the wake of U.S. President Donald Trump's tariff policies. They also noted, quote, trade uncertainty and economic policy uncertainty has reached unprecedented levels, end quote. To its credit, the U.S. Department of Education is not celebrating Homosexual Pride Month in the month of June. Instead, the Trump administration is recognizing June as Title IX month. Title IX of the Education Amendments was signed into law by President Richard Nixon on June 23, 1972. It prohibits discrimination on the basis of sex in education programs. However, the Biden administration tried to inject transgender protections into the law. Under Trump's Education Department, the administration is promising to protect women's and girls' sports from such transgender activism. An immigrant motivated by anti-Semitic beliefs has been accused of brutally attacking a peaceful pro-Israel group advocating for Israeli hostages held captive by the Muslim terrorist group known as Hamas, reports The Blaze. Mohammed Sabri Solomon, a 45-year-old Egyptian national in the United States, despite reportedly overstaying his visa, is suspected of attacking a group of individuals participating in a walk in Boulder, Colorado at 2 p.m. on June 1st. According to CNN, he allegedly used a makeshift flamethrower and Molotov cocktails to set people on fire at an event in support of hostages in Gaza as he yelled, quote, Free Palestine, end quote. He injured at least 12 people. The victims ranged in age from 52 to 88 years old, including a Holocaust survivor. The U.S. Attorney General's office has charged Solomon with a hate crime. The attack targeted the Run for Their Lives group, a grassroots organization that gathered on Pearl Street on Sunday evening to support the release of the hostages captured by the terrorist group in October 2023. According to the FBI, the Jewish group chapter gathers weekly. Maya Bajayo is the organizer of the Run for Their Lives group.
We're here only to raise awareness for the hostages. It makes it even more scary for us that it could have been us.
Amazingly, Bajayo, who has been leading the walk for 83 Sundays straight, refuses to stop walking despite the threat of violence. She explained why to Channel 9 News.
To show people that we're still here, the problem hasn't been solved, and the hostages need to be released. We're just not going to give up on them.
During June, Oklahoma is celebrating a month for life. Republican Governor Kevin Stitt signed the proclamation Monday. He wrote on X, quote, "Life begins at conception. We're committed to supporting moms every step, and God has a plan for every life," end quote. The proclamation encouraged citizens to join the Oklahoma March for Life on Saturday, June 7th. The U.S. Supreme Court handed down its Obergefell v. Hodges decision 10 years ago on June 26, 2015. The infamous ruling requires states to recognize homosexual unions as so-called marriages. A new survey from Gallup found that 68% of U.S. adults support faux homosexual marriage, up from 60% in 2015. However, that support has plateaued over the last 5 years. And finally, I would love to know why you enjoy listening to The Worldview in 5 minutes. Do you like the variety of stories, the reports on the persecuted church, the Christian worldview, the two scriptures, the sound bites, the links to additional information in our transcript, or even the occasional uplifting positive story? Email me 2 to 6 sentences and include your name, city, and state. Surprisingly, I did not get a single email on Tuesday, despite the fact that tens of thousands of people listen to the newscast or read the transcript. Send your email to adam@theworldview.com. Toward this week's $30,875 goal to fund 1/4 of the Worldview newscast budget, by this Friday, June 6th, 18 listeners stepped up to the plate. Our thanks to Joshua in Bolivar, Missouri, who gave $30, as well as Rachel in Longview, Washington, Margaret in White Salmon, Washington, Jeremy in Swansea, Wales in the United Kingdom, and Karina in Eugene, Oregon, each of whom gave $50. We appreciate Dick in Hoyt, Kansas, Hannah in San Jose, California, David in Plano, Texas, Adam in Giles, Wisconsin, and David in Crestview, Florida, each of whom gave $100. We're grateful to God for Hannah in Green Valley, Arizona, who gave $132, Genevieve in Wheat Ridge, Colorado, who pledged $20 per month for 12 months for a gift of $240, Kristen in Columbia Falls, Montana, who gave $250, and Lewis and Patricia in Kyle, Texas, who pledged $25 per month for 12 months for a gift of $300. And we appreciate the generosity of Stephen in Coatesville, Pennsylvania, who gave $350, James in Cardiff, Wales in the United Kingdom, who pledged $50 per month for 12 months for a gift of $600, Patricia in Winfield, Iowa, who gave $700, and Larry and Sue in Crooked Creek, Alberta, Canada, who pledged $75 per month for 12 months for a gift of $900. Those 18 listeners gave a total of $4,202. Ready for our new grand total? Drum roll, please. $4,932. That means by this Friday, we still need to raise $26,873. We missed our goal of 20 donors on Tuesday by only 2 donors. In order to hit our goal by this Friday, June 6th, we need to raise $8,957 on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Toward that end, I wonder if there might be 4 Worldview listeners who could give $1,000, another 8 who would pledge $50 per month, and 12 who would pledge $25 per month. That would enable us to raise $11,800 on Wednesday. Maybe we can hit 20 donors today. Go to theworldview.com and click on Give on the top right. Make sure to click on the button of Recurring Donation if you'd like to make it a monthly pledge. Where else can you find a succinct and timely newscast with a biblical perspective? And that's The Worldview on this Wednesday, June 4th, in the year of our Lord 2025. Subscribe for free by Spotify, Amazon Music, or by iTunes or email to our unique Christian newscast at theworldview.com. I'm Adam McManus. Seize the day for Jesus Christ.